Jaylen Rose's reflection on Michael Jordan being the only player, other than Hakeem Olajuwon, who is simultaneously the best offensive and defensive presence on the court, highlights the dual mastery that separates Jordan from every other superstar. When you talk about a player being elite on one side of the ball, that already puts them in rare company. Most great players are known for either their offensive brilliance or their defensive toughness, but rarely both. Jordan was the exception. He could dominate you offensively by scoring 40 points in a night with smooth footwork, clutch shooting, and relentless drives to the basket. At the same time, he could lock you down defensively, stripping the ball away, contesting every shot, and making life miserable for whoever dared to match up with him.
Jordan is the only player other than Hakeem Olajuwon that I've been on the court and was like, he's the best player on the offensive side and the best player on the defensive side.
In the next comment, Jaylen Rose makes an important distinction when comparing modern highlights of LeBron James to what it would have been like to face Michael Jordan. Rose acknowledges that LeBron's behind-the-back passes, through the leg dribbles, and no-look assists against certain defenders look impressive. However, he cautions against assuming those same plays would have worked against Jordan's defensive control. This is not a dismissal of LeBron's talent, but rather a reminder that Jordan's defensive intelligence and ferocity made him immune to the kind of showmanship that works against lesser opponents.
Just because you see LeBron James going between the leg and behind the back and throwing left-hand passes against Terry Rozier, don't think he's going to be doing that against Michael Jordan.
In this moment, Jay Williams and Jaylen Rose collectively agree that LeBron cannot claim the same dual dominance that defined Michael Jordan. Their conversation underscores one of the most decisive arguments in the debate over the greatest of all time. LeBron may be the best offensive player at times, or may have stretches of defensive brilliance, but the simultaneous ownership of both ends of the court has never belonged to him the way it did to Jordan.
You're saying you don't think LeBron is the best offensive player and the best defensive player on the court when he plays?
No. Defensive? No.
You cut them off.
No.
When Shaquille O'Neal and Ryan Hollins brought up this exchange, it highlighted one of the most misunderstood parts of the LeBron James narrative. People love to compare numbers. They see LeBron climbing the all-time scoring charts, and they immediately assume that means he belongs in the same conversation as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. But the truth is, numbers without context mean nothing. Yes, LeBron passed Kobe on the scoring list. Yes, he chases Michael Jordan's ghost. But basketball greatness has never been about just piling up points over 20 years. It has always been about how you got those points, when you got them, and the level of fear you instilled while doing it. Michael Jordan didn't just score. He annihilated defenses in the biggest moments. Kobe Bryant didn't just climb leaderboards, he left entire teams demoralized by his will to win. LeBron surpassing Kobe's point total doesn't erase the reality that Kobe's legacy is etched in blood, sweat, and dominance in the clutch.
You said LeBron James the greatest player ever?
Ever.
What about Michael and Kobe? So you just gonna pass Kobe up like that?
I'm gonna pass Kobe up. I'm gonna look at Michael.
This is where Shaq and Hollins dug into the heart of the matter. LeBron James supporters constantly argue that his impact across multiple franchises elevates him above Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. They say he succeeded with the Heat, with the Cavaliers, with the Lakers. But here's the truth. Moving around and stacking teams isn't the same as dominating with one franchise and creating a dynasty. Michael Jordan never had to leave Chicago to cement his greatness. Kobe Bryant never had to abandon Los Angeles to prove he could win. They stayed, they fought, they endured, and they conquered. That is what true greatness looks like. LeBron's constant moving from team to team is not a testament to his dominance. It is an admission that he could not achieve the same with one organization.
Kobe Bryant couldn't fill, or Michael Jordan fill LeBron's shoes. The impact that he's had with different teammates, different organizations.
Would you be mad at me if I just walked off the show?
It makes him a better team player. But let's break this down. Passing numbers do not automatically make you a better teammate. Assists are a stat, but leadership is a legacy. Michael Jordan may not have the raw assist numbers that LeBron has, but no player in NBA history made his teammates better in the way Jordan did. Jordan demanded greatness out of everyone around him. He pushed Scottie Pippen from being a raw athlete into becoming a Hall of Famer. He challenged Steve Kerr to the point where Kerr himself admitted he became tougher because of it. He forced every role player on those Bulls teams to rise to his standard. That is making players better.
Are you aware that this man has tripled and doubled Michael Jordan in assists? Assists make.
When Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant players in NBA history, dismisses numbers and goes straight to the ultimate truth, it speaks louder than any spreadsheet, analytic breakdown, or statistical gymnastics the modern media wants to throw in LeBron's favor. Shaq isn't a historian reading from notes. He isn't a debater chasing semantics. He is a player who understands the one measurement that matters in this league more than anything: winning when the lights are brightest. 6 championships, 6 trips to the finals, and 6 rings with 0 losses. That is Michael Jordan's legacy. Shaq captures it perfectly. He doesn't need to go further because that number alone is a dagger in every LeBron argument. 6 and 0. That is the ultimate mic drop.
You guys are playing better now.
I'm going to say one thing to you, Max. I don't know the numbers like you do. Michael Jordan is what in the finals? 6 and what?
Oh.
And what is LeBron in the finals?
Ryan Hollins' words cut straight to the heart of Jordan's legacy. The emphasis on 0 isn't just about numbers. It's about dominance. It's about the sheer authority Michael Jordan had over the NBA landscape. He never let an opponent drag him into the desperation of a Game 7. He never allowed doubt to creep in. He ended series with ruthless efficiency. 6 finals, 6 victories, all closed before they even touched the brink of a 7th game. That is not just impressive, it is historic.
That's all I got to say.
Shaq, how many game 7s did MJ go to? 0.
0.
Hey,
I'm saying,
how many times did MJ see the Warriors, though?
This moment between Hollins and Shaq is raw. It's unfiltered. It's 2 analysts caught up in the undeniable truth of Jordan's dominance. You can hear the excitement, the energy, the way their voices elevate when Jordan's name is brought up. That yes, yes, yes isn't rehearsed. It isn't manufactured. It's the pure reaction of remembering greatness. That's what Jordan does. He doesn't just win games. He imprints memories in the minds of players, analysts, and fans alike. Memories so strong that even decades later, people can't help but shout in awe when his name comes up. This is the thing about Jordan. His legacy is not just in the numbers, it is in the feeling he left behind. When people talk about LeBron, they talk about statistics, longevity, how many years he has played, how many assists he has stacked up. When people talk about Jordan, they don't talk numbers first. They talk moments. They talk dominance. They talk about the shrug against Portland. They talk about the shot over Craig Elo. They talk about the flu game. They talk about the final jumper over Brian Russell in 1998. And when they talk about him, their voices rise, just like Shaq and Hollins in this clip, because Jordan made people feel greatness in a way no one else ever has. The YES is symbolic. It is the universal agreement of basketball minds when Jordan is brought up, because deep down, everyone knows. They may argue for LeBron to stir debate. They may push narratives to keep the conversation alive, but when the curtain falls and people remember what they actually saw, Jordan is the standard. The emotion in Shaq and Hollins' reaction is proof. Greatness isn't just measured in rings or records. It's measured in the respect and awe you command, even from your peers. Jordan's peers, his rivals, and even future generations can't help but light up when his name is mentioned. That is the difference. LeBron's legacy may always spark debate. Jordan's legacy always sparks awe. When Shaq and Hollins shouted, "Yes, yes, yes," they were echoing the voice of millions of fans across generations. The conversation may continue, but the feeling is unanimous. Michael Jordan made the game unforgettable, and no one, not even LeBron James, can replicate that impact.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Will you stop it?
I'm just saying, though.
Stop it.
He's going to beat the Warriors? He's going to beat
Shaq,
KD,
when Jordan
Steph,
retired,
Clay? No!
Yes!
Shaquille O'Neal does not mince words, and in this statement, he is drawing a line in the sand between 2 eras of basketball. When Shaq says they played in the big boy era, he is talking about a time in the NBA when every possession meant blood, sweat, and bruises. He is talking about a time when superstars were hunted on the court. not coddled. When he calls today's game a cupcake era, he is calling out the softness of the modern league, where rules have been rewritten to protect scorers, prevent hand-checking, and turn physical dominance into a foul rather than an advantage. This is not just nostalgia speaking. This is one of the most dominant centers in basketball history, looking at the evolution of the sport and pointing out how much easier it has become for players like LeBron James compared to the war zones that Michael Jordan had to fight through every single night. Think about it. In Jordan's era, there was no running into the lane untouched. There were no friendly whistles waiting to bail you out when defenders got physical. The Detroit Pistons' bad boys did not just defend, they punished. The New York Knicks did not just contest, they assaulted. Every trip to the rim was a gamble with your body. Jordan had to not only be skilled, but also resilient enough to take beatings that would shatter lesser men. Shaq's point is that greatness in the big boy era meant more than numbers. It meant surviving. It meant dominating in a landscape where the league was stacked with tough, physical defenders who would rather knock you to the floor than give you an easy two. When you compare that to LeBron's era, the difference is glaring. LeBron plays in a time when offenses spread the floor, defensive 3-second violations keep the paint open, and hand-checking has been erased. Instead of physical intimidation, players are forced into finesse battles. And while that benefits scorers, it removes the layer of brutality that Jordan overcame to achieve his greatness. LeBron has never had to deal with a playoff series where his very health was at risk from game to game. Jordan had to deal with that annually, yet he still went 6-0 in the finals. Shaq is reminding everyone that context matters. When Jordan conquered the NBA, he did it in an unforgiving world where skill alone was not enough. You needed courage, toughness, and an indomitable will. That is why Jordan's success means more than any statistic LeBron can produce in a softer era. Shaq knows firsthand what it means to fight in the trenches of real basketball, and his message is clear. Michael Jordan's dominance in the big boy era carries more weight than anything LeBron has done in the cupcake era.
The era we playing in? We playing in the big boy era where you can knock people on their ass, or we playing in this little cupcake era now where you can't?
Shaquille O'Neal is pointing to something that is often ignored in the endless GOAT debate: defense. In today's era, offensive highlights dominate social media. Scoring numbers get inflated and praised. But Shaq takes us back to the fundamentals of basketball, reminding us that defense is just as important as offense. And when you look at Michael Jordan and his supporting cast, you see a level of defensive excellence that few teams in history can rival. When Shaq says, "like a man," he is not just being casual. He is laying emphasis on toughness, accountability, and the kind of relentless effort that made the Chicago Bulls dynasty possible. Dennis Rodman was not simply a rebounder. He was a defensive monster who could lock down players at every position. Scottie Pippen was arguably the best wing defender in history, capable of shutting down superstars with length, intelligence, and anticipation. And then there was Jordan himself, who did not just score at will, but also suffocated opponents on the other end. He was a Defensive Player of the Year, a 9-time All-Defensive First-Team member, and a player who prided himself on taking the opponent's best scorer and shutting him down. This is where the Jordan-LeBron comparison collapses. LeBron is a versatile defender, but his career has not been defined by defensive excellence. His defensive prime was short-lived, and for many years he coasted on that end of the floor. Jordan never coasted. Every possession mattered. Every defensive stop was part of his mission to crush his opponent's will. Shaq's words highlight that Jordan's greatness was complete, not partial. He was not just the greatest scorer, he was one of the greatest defenders. He set a standard that demanded toughness on both ends, and his teammates followed his lead. Shaq, who battled against countless legends, is telling us that Jordan and his teammates represented a style of defense that was uncompromising. Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan together created a wall of resistance that no team could easily penetrate. That is why the Bulls dominated the 90s. That is why Jordan's 6 titles are untouchable. You cannot separate his offensive genius from his defensive ferocity. Together, they created the complete package, the true definition of playing like a man.
Shaq, how did Dennis Rodman play defense?
He played like a man.
How did Scottie Pippen play defense?
Like a man.
How did Michael Jordan play defense?
Like a man.
Ron Harper played defense.
Stephen A. Smith puts into words what every NBA fan who lived through Jordan's era already knows. Michael Jordan was not just a player, he was a force of nature. He did not just face obstacles, he destroyed them. Injuries, physical defenders, stacked teams, pressure situations. Nothing could derail Jordan from his ultimate goal. That relentlessness is what separates him from LeBron James and every other player who has laced up sneakers. Jordan faced the Boston Celtics dynasty in the 80s, a team that buried countless careers. He faced the Detroit Pistons bad boys, who devised rules specifically to stop him, hacking him every time he dared to score. He faced Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers in the finals, and he dethroned them. He faced Charles Barkley's MVP season, Clyde Drexler's sharpshooting, Gary Payton's defense, Karl Malone's power, and every single time, Jordan walked away victorious. 6 trips to the finals, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. That is not just winning. That is domination. What Stephen A. Smith is saying is that Jordan never folded. He never ran to form super teams. He never let circumstances dictate his legacy. Instead, he defined the circumstances. He molded the league to his will. That relentlessness is unmatched in NBA history. LeBron, for all his greatness, has shown cracks under pressure. He has lost on the biggest stage 6 times. He has joined forces with other stars to build competitive advantages. Jordan never needed that. He was the advantage. Stephen A.'s statement captures the essence of the GOAT debate. It is not just about talent. It is about willpower, about the ability to face adversity and not just survive, but conquer. Jordan did not make excuses. He did not defer to others. He took responsibility and delivered every time. That is why he is not just the greatest basketball player. He is the ultimate competitor, the gold standard of professional sports.
Obstacle you threw in the way of Michael Jordan. He knocked him out.
He overcame it.
He knocked him out.
When you combine Shaquille O'Neal's blunt reminders about the big boy era and defensive toughness with Stephen A. Smith's passionate defense of Jordan's indomitable will, one truth becomes undeniable. Michael Jordan's legacy stands above all. He played in the harshest era against the toughest defenders, under the brightest lights, and he never faltered. He attacked every obstacle and demolished it. LeBron James is an all-time great, no one can deny that. But greatness is relative to the challenges you face. LeBron's path, softened by rule changes and modern advantages, cannot compare to Jordan's relentless climb through brutality and adversity. Shaq knows it, Stephen A. knows it, and deep down, even LeBron's biggest fans know it. Michael Jordan is not just the GOAT. He is the immovable standard. The one who set the bar so high that no one, no matter how talented, how durable, or how celebrated, can ever truly reach it. That is the truth these legends keep reminding us of, and it is the truth that will echo forever in the history of the game.